Welcome to Thought Leaders, featuring interviews with some of the best minds in the industry. Today's special guest is popular platform speaker and best-selling author, Tom Hegna. Hello everyone, I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and talk show host. In this segment, we're introducing you into the new concept called hybrid retirement, all from Tom's book and his PBS special, Don't Worry, Retire Happy. Well, Tommy, let's talk about this new concept, hybrid retirement. I actually did not want to work and retire at the same time. Talk to me about
Yeah, well,
this.
some people don't have to, but what we're finding is that too many people are trying to retire too early. They haven't saved enough money. And I would rather see somebody work from 60 to 65 or 60 to 70 than from 75 to 95. And unfortunately, that's going to happen to too many people. I think George Burns summed it up best when he said this: retirement at 65 is ridiculous. When I was 65, I still had pimples. And by the way, George Burns lived to be age 100. So look, even if we can get people to work just a few more years, it can increase their success in retirement by up to 50%. Why? Because they can have increased earnings, increased savings, and increased Social Security benefits. You know, brain scientists talk about how important it is to stay socially engaged. And so Forbes magazine recently had an article, and they said all these people are retiring early and they're dropping dead. You know why they're dropping dead? Because they no longer have a purpose in their life. Their work was their purpose. And if that's you, when you retire, you've got to find another purpose. You got to get involved with a charity or go on a mission trip or get involved with a youth group or start a new hobby, start golfing or painting, all right? Because no matter how old you are, you got to have a reason to get out of bed every day. And so you don't have to work, but I think a lot of people are going to want to keep working. You know, they don't, what am I going to do at 65? How long can you sit on the beach and play golf? I mean, can you do that every day? I mean, maybe you can, but I still want to be functioning and doing something, you know, for the betterment of mankind.
Okay, so there's a real reasons to do hybrid retirement. Part of the reason is I'm not ready to quite retire. I need a few more years, but I could do partial. I could maybe start taking a little more time off. I don't have to do 45, 50 hours. Maybe I'm doing 30, 35 hours.
Right. You know, for me, I'm a speaker, and so right now I'm doing 180 events a year. Well, that's a lot. I could gear that down to 100 events. Then I could gear it down to 80 events, 60 events, 40 events. And so I'll be able to kind of control how much speaking and that I do in my retirement. Sometimes you can become a consultant in your industry. Sometimes you can get a job that you like to do. You could even be a marshal on a golf course 2 days a week so that you can play golf for free the other 5 days a week. It can reduce your expenses. So the nice thing about hybrid retirement, you can do something that you've always wanted to do. Not that you have to do.
Now, if I'm a planner and I have a retirement plan and I'm thinking, okay, I'm thinking the time of a lot of people will say, well, I'm trying to stall my Social Security at age 70. I'm trying to wait on my qualified plans till my required minimum distributions come online. So I got a little 5-year period I have to play there. So I might want to spend some of my non-qualified money while I'm letting that roll, but I need a little bit more wages to still supplement that. So do you see this as kind of the new retirement norm? I mean, are a lot of baby boomers going to go down this road?
I think a lot of baby boomers are going to go. You can start a new business. You could run a business on eBay or Amazon. I mean, there's so many different ways to do it. But the other thing in retirement that you got to do is you've got to protect your savings from inflation. Inflation is like a virus that gets worse over time. And this chart shows $10,000 of purchasing power at 4% inflation will be cut by more than 50% in 20 years. It'll be cut by more than 2/3 in 30 years. So Steve, if you think about it, not only do you need to plan to have income to age 100 and beyond, you really need to plan to have increasing income to age 100 and beyond. Now look, this is where stocks can fit. This is where mutual funds, this is where managed money can fit. Real estate has been historically a very good hedge against inflation over time. But, you know, as we were talking earlier, there are other ways to protect against inflation. People need to know, I've already got guaranteed income that will kick in when I turn age 60. But I bought even more that'll kick in when I turn age 65. I bought even more that'll kick in when I turn age 70. I bought even more that'll kick in when I turn age 75. So I've already bought guaranteed income in a ladder to ensure I will have increasing income for the rest of my life. And I did that all with guaranteed products. You can also get cost of living riders on these lifetime income products so that you can be guaranteed to have that income go up by 4% or 3% every year for the rest of your life.
I saw one that was at 6.
Yeah, there's products out there that will do that.
Okay, so I can use to hedge inflation, to take some of the cost of living off the table. I could use these annuities that you're talking about that can have COLA. It doesn't come automatic, right?
Right. You got to select it.
Okay, but I might also be in the market, getting a little bit on my dividends or a little bit of stock appreciation. Could be in real estate, like you said. Historically, has been a hedge against other investments. And I like your other thing about, and then I could actually work a little to take the edge off it.
Right. And so there are many ways that you can do it. It's not an all or nothing thing. If you feel more comfortable in the market, you can have some money in the market. The market over time should protect you from inflation. If you're a real estate person, you can have some money in real estate. Real estate over time typically protects you from inflation. Some commodities will do it. Or if you're not the risk type person, you can do it with guaranteed products as well. Whatever fits you best.
Well, for more information on how you can use hybrid retirement concept in your practice, just click on the landing page address in the video description. We'll be right back with more from Tom Hagen.
This is your website. Few people visit, and if it isn't attracting new visitors, it's not doing its job. Now you can drive more visitors to your website through dynamic content and email marketing with CreativeOne's Social Media Elite. Capture quality leads faster and easier. Engage your visitors with informative articles and videos to boost your online credibility. Plus, stay connected with existing clients and earn more referrals. All content is customized for you. It's time to introduce your website to the world. Call your CreativeOne sales team at 800-992-2642 or visit us online at creativeone.com.
In this segment, we're talking about Tom's 2016 economic forecast. Well, Tom, let's talk about that because I recorded you in 2014 in your forecast, pretty close to what you said. 2015, right? And everything pretty much, we're not quite out the year, but we're almost there. You've been pretty right on. So let's talk about what we can expect in 2016. We're recording this, of course, at the end of the year of 2015 now.
Yeah, so look, for how many years have people said interest rates are going to go up? Interest rates are going to go up. They've been saying it for years. And right now, we're looking at December 2015. The Federal Reserve is almost for sure going to raise interest rates. But what rates do they raise? They don't raise the interest rates out in the market. They raise the federal overnight rate. Now, typically, other rates key off of that. But I don't believe you're going to see that. Interest rates on other rates can stay the same. That's called a flattening of the yield curve. Long-term interest rates can actually go down even if the Fed raises short-term. That's called an inverted yield curve, and we've seen that. Now, kind of to set this up, if I were to ask you, what do you think most of your clients or what most of your friends are they concerned about? Are they more concerned about deflation or are they more concerned about inflation? Most people say inflation, and they're buying gold and silver and guns and bullets and water and toothpaste and toilet paper and concertina wire, and they all got a plot of land somewhere near Nevada because this time it's going to get bad. Well, why do they think it's going to get bad? Well, they think it's going to get bad because the Federal Reserve over the past 4, 5, 6 years has printed about $4 trillion. Now, I'm an economics guy, and I learned, every time you print a dollar, what happens to the value of all the other dollars? They go down. Every time you print money, the value of all the other dollars goes down. Well, if that's true, when you go to buy something, what do you need? You need more dollars because the dollars that you have are worth less, and that's called inflation. See, normally when you print money, it causes inflation. But let me share with you why that doesn't always happen, all right? Inflation is not caused by printing money alone. There's a second component, and most people don't know what that component is. It's called the velocity of money. It's how fast that money turns over in the economy. Well, the supply of money is the one component. It's gone up like nothing we've ever seen, which in normal times would not just cause inflation, cause hyperinflation. That's why people are buying gold and silver. But let me pull back the curtain and show you what they're not seeing. They're not seeing the second component, which is money velocity, which has gone down there is no money velocity. So we printed $4 trillion, but it's like we dug a big hole and buried it. It is sitting on bank balance sheets. It is not working its way through the economy. And so you are not going to see any inflation, regardless of all the money that's been printed. You're not going to see any inflation in this country until you see money velocity pick up. Besides that, there are several huge deflationary pressures going around the world. So let me show you the world through my eyes, the way that I see it when I wake up. The first thing I wake up when I wake up that I see is debt, record global government debt. We are now in a world that's $57 trillion in debt. Steve, we are now in a country that's $18 trillion in debt, climbing at $1 to $2 billion every single day. We have $75 trillion of unfunded obligations for Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, government pensions, military pensions. This should be a national crisis. You know why it's not? Because I don't think most Americans know what $1 trillion is. I mean, it rhymes with million, it rhymes with billion. I guess it's just another illion. No, it's very different. Let me put it this way. If $1 equals 1 second, $1 million equals 11 and a half days. $1 billion equals 32 years. $1 trillion equals 32,000 years. 32,000 years at $1 equals 1 second, and we are 18 trillion in the hole with 75 trillion of unfunded obligations. Now, let me ask you a question. What is debt? All debt is taking from the future and spending it today. Look, we're in football season, so I'll give you an example. Let's say you got the Red Zone package and you want to watch it, the football season, but you got a crappy old TV. So you go down to Best Buy, you don't have any money, but you take out your credit card and they swipe it for $1,500. You get to take home a brand new big screen TV and you watch the Red Zone package all year long in your brand new big screen TV. What do? You just took $1,500 of your future and you spent it today. What I'm telling you is governments around the world have taken 57 trillion of our future and it's gone. So by definition, what does our future look like? 57 trillion plus interest, less than what it otherwise could or what it should be. This amount of debt is going to reduce global growth for decades. Well, now some of you have had debt, you've had credit card debt, you've had student loans. What happens when you're paying off your debt? What aren't you doing with your money? You're not spending it or saving it. The paying off of debt is also very deflationary. It's called deleveraging. And what I'm telling you is governments around the world haven't even started to get out of debt. Now, how do governments get out of debt? Well, there are 3 ways. We only ever hear about 2. Raise taxes, cut spending. The third one is growth. Growth is the best. We never hear about it. But what happens to an economy when you raise taxes and you cut spending? It strangles the economy. It reduces growth. It's highly deflationary. So you got this massive debt that's deflationary. You got this deleveraging that hasn't even started. What I'm telling you is you can look forward to decades of higher taxes and reduced government spending, which is also deflationary. And the third big D is demographics. You see, we're getting old. Europe is old. Japan is very, very old. Japan now sells more adult diapers than baby diapers. China will get old before they get rich. What happens economically when you get old? Your spending goes off a cliff. Old people don't spend any money. If I asked you right now, how much money do your grandparents spend? Nothing. All right? Well, look, that's going to be you in 30 years. So you look at these baby boomers, Steve, 78 million baby boomers that were driving this economy. It's about me and more and bigger and better and a bigger house and a better house and a bigger car and a better car. Well, guess what? Those 78 million baby boomers are over the hill. They're over age 50. What happens at age 50? The kids move out, at least for a couple months, and your spending goes off a cliff. After age 50, you're going to spend less and less and less every month for the rest of your life. So let's think about this. You got this massive debt. You got this deleveraging. You got this demographics. That's all going to cause highly deflationary pressures. Now, could we have inflation? Yes, we printed a lot of money. If we saw some money velocity, we could see some inflation. But there's all these deflationary pressures. So what does this have to do with you? Well, many of you think this is a low interest rate environment. I got news for you. This is not a low interest rate environment. This is the new interest rate environment. What I'm telling you is interest rates are going to stay very, very low for a very, very, very long time. I don't care if the Fed raises interest rates 25 or 50 basis points. The interest rates you see are going to stay low probably for the rest of your life. Ben Bernanke was on the East Coast. He said, you're not going to see 4% interest rates for the rest of your life. So, Steve, I think people who think interest rates are going up and we're going to see 4 or 5%, you're not going to see 4 or 5%. Look, our economy couldn't handle it. We're 18 trillion in debt. If we had 6% interest rates, the interest on the debt would be over $1 trillion. So I know we're never going to see 6%. Ben Bernanke says we're never going to see 4%. I doubt we'll ever see 3%. All right? So we are not in a low interest rate environment. This is the new interest rate environment. Get used to it.
Well, for more information on how you can use this conversation about Tom's 2016 economic forecast, just click on the landing page address in the video description. And for more information on all our shows, seminars, and workshops, just follow us out on social media or check us out on our website. I'm Steve Savant. We'll see you next time on Thought Leaders. And remember, keep thinking outside the box.